FloHoops fans, I'm here with Mike Mahoney, Director of Athletic Communications for the University of Pennsylvania, and we're here at the Palestra.
So I always start any tour with the sign that you kind of see when you first walk into the Palestra. To win the game is great, to play the game is greater, but to love the game is the greatest of all. It can apply to basketball in this case, but it can really apply to any sport. If you have the love of the sport, that's the greatest gift.
How do you think this represents the Palestra?
I think it's, I think people who come to games have a love of basketball. Philadelphia is a very big basketball city, whether it's the pro game with the Sixers, whether it's college and the Big Five. Obviously an event like today, having the 4 games going on here from the Landmark Conference. But I think if you love hoops, you would love coming to the Palestra. It's a place that is a destination for people, not just in Philadelphia, but around the country and around the world.
For a long time, the Palestra was home to the Philadelphia Big Five. Mike, what exactly is the Big Five?
So the Big Five was formed in the 1950s. It's Penn, it's LaSalle, it's St. Joseph's, it's Temple, and it's Villanova. And for decades, the Palestra hosted all the Big Five teams, but until on-campus facilities came around, that didn't really happen until the 80s or so. So through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, all 5 of those teams would play all their home games here at the Palestra. And so here in the front, you can see we have the Big Five Hall of Fame, we have plaques. That's an annual induction. We have one person from each of the schools, a coach, a men's player, a women's player. They started women's Big Five play in 1980. So we always do an induction at the end of every season and induct someone from each of the schools every year. So right now we're on the south side. So you can see some of these displays, going back to the 20s. So the first Penn basketball game was played in 1897. We lost to Yale 32-15, and we disbanded for 5 years. So we took the loss really hard. We did not enjoy that loss. So disbanded for 5 years, came back stronger in 1902. But you see here some of the displays. So we won the national championship. We were declared national champions in 1920 and 1921.
Then 6 years later, the Palestra.
6 years later, the Palestra opens. Yes, we had this national championship team. We were playing in a place that seated maybe 300 people. We were like, we got to build something a little bit bigger. So we built this incredible venue. At the time, it seated about 9,000, almost 10,000. We list capacity now at about 8,700. But yeah, in 1927, this was about as big as it got. And so you were able to get a lot of bigger name schools to come here because they didn't have venues as that size. And of course, coming to Philadelphia, coming to a big city, like it was a real draw for a lot of schools not from the area.
All right, where are we on to next?
So we've got some pictures from different net cuttings here in the building over the years. You've got some pictures going back to the 50s and 60s. So over here, this was kind of our other heyday in the mid-90s. We won 4 straight Ivy titles from 1993 to 1996. More impressively, the 93, 94, and 95 teams all went undefeated in league play. They all went 14-0. We won from 92 to 96, we won 48 straight Ivy League games. Still the second longest conference winning streak in Division I history. So obviously these are teams that we hold a lot of pride in. We had 3 guys from the 95 team that went on to play in the NBA, which is almost unheard of, obviously, from an Ivy League team. And this is kind of a nice way for us to end the Penn section of the concourse. So the East Concourse, you're going to see mostly stuff that involves not basketball. We have other sports that play here in the Palestra. We have wrestling that competes here, and then in the fall, volleyball uses this. And then at the very end, you're going to see my personal pride and joy, the media section. So you can kind of see here, so this is from a game in 2008 when we hosted North Carolina. You can see the press row back then, and we've changed it since then, but for decades, because you can see it up here as well, the press was right behind the bench. Like literally, so you can see in this picture better, like that's the North Carolina coaching staff, and then like there's the Inquirer, there's the Inquirer Daily News, and so they could hear everything that's being said on the benches. that played a role in making the Big Five a big part of it. Was the coaches were interacting with the media during the games. They'd turn and be like, how terrible was that call? Because they knew they could get away with it there. They couldn't get away with it in a post-game press conference. So you had a relationship that was really strong with the media members and the coaches and the players. And obviously that fueled the rivalry too, because now the media members are writing about it in the papers, they're putting it in the TV and stuff like that. So that really added some flavor to the Big Five rivalries as well. All right, we'll come around here. We'll come around to the north side. The north side is famous coaches that brought their teams to the Palestra and coached them. Famous players that came from outside the city and played at the Palestra. So yeah, you got Brad Stevens when he was at Butler, Bo Ryan when he was at Wisconsin.
Just this guy, that one.
Guy.
I don't know if you know him.
So this is the place where you tend to see people spending the most time. So you come down here, and these are, again, great college players that played here at the Palestra. Patrick Ewing. So yeah, you continue on down. Some of the all-time greats, right? You got Oscar Robertson, the Big O. You got Jerry West, the logo. And then down here, obviously through the years, a lot of high school games were played here, right? You see, so Will Chamberlain played here. Kobe Bryant played here. He was from Lower Merion, which is right down the street. And then this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle right here. So these are just some non-athletic events that have been hosted at the Palestra over the years. So actually, this is an athletic event.
Tennis.
This was the Virginia Slims women's tennis tournament. But you see political rallies, graduations. So the Wharton School still does their graduations here every year. So you can see that. Spring Fling is a big spring weekend for the students. So they would do their concerts in here. So you see some famous Simon and Garfunkel, some of that. Just kind of showing you the versatility of the building over the years and the decades. And then you come around the corner, and here we are back at the front entrance, and you can see the Big Five logos. That means we've arrived back at the front of the building.
All right, thank you so much, Mike, for the tour.
Yeah, happy to do it. Happy to have you guys here. Looking forward to a great day with the Landmark Conference.
All right, let's go watch some basketball.